June 1967. 6 days. That's all it took to redraw the map of the Middle East. In less than a week, entire air forces were destroyed, thousands of soldiers were killed, and borders that still shape global politics today were created. This wasn't a long world war. It was short, fussed, brutal, and dangerously close to becoming nuclear. This is the story of the Six-Day War, the war that changed history in less than 1 week. The Middle East in the 1960s was already a state. After World War II, Israel was created in 1948. Immediately, neighboring Arab nations, Egypt, Syria, and Jordan, went to war against it. That war ended, but the anger didn't. By 1967, tensions were boiling again. Egypt's president, Gamal Abdel Nasser, moved thousands of troops into the Sinai Peninsula near Israel's border. He also blocked the Strait of Tiran, a crucial waterway for Israeli trade. To Israel, this was not just a threat. It was an act of war. Meanwhile, Syria was shelling Israeli villages. Jordan signed a military pact with Egypt. Arab nations publicly called for Israel's destruction. The region was a ticking time bomb, and everyone knew it. June 5th, 1967, before sunrise, Israel made a decision that would shock the world. Instead of waiting to be attacked, they struck first. In a carefully planned operation called Operation Focus, Israeli fighter jets flew extremely low over the Mediterranean Sea to avoid radar detection. Within hours, Egypt's air force was destroyed. Over 300 Egyptian aircraft were eliminated, mostly while still on the ground. Imagine losing your entire air force in a single morning. By midday, Israel controlled the skies. Without air support, Egyptian ground troops were exposed. Panic spread, and the war had only just begun. With air dominance secured, Israel advanced into the Sinai Peninsula. Egyptian forces retreated, but chaos followed. Roads became jammed with military vehicles. Airstrikes continued. Within just 3 days, Israel had taken control of the entire Sinai Peninsula. Meanwhile, in Gaza, heavy fighting erupted. By the end of the 3rd day, Gaza was under Israeli control. Egypt had suffered devastating losses, but the war wasn't over. Not even close. Now, the focus shifted to Jordan. Jordanian forces began shelling West Jerusalem. Israel responded immediately. Fighting in Jerusalem was intense and emotional. For Israelis, the old city of Jerusalem, including the Western Wall, held deep historical and religious meaning. On June 7th, Israeli paratroopers entered the old city. For the first time in nearly 20 years, Israel controlled East Jerusalem. The images spread across the world. Soldiers standing in front of ancient stone walls. Some are crying, some are praying. But politically, this moment would ignite decades of conflict that still continue today. Syria had been shelling Israeli communities from the Golan Heights for years. The high ground gave Syria a major advantage. Taking it would be extremely difficult. But on June 9th, Israel launched an assault. The battle was brutal. Steep cliffs, heavy artillery, close combat. By June 10th, Israel captured the Golan Heights. And just like that, the war was over. 6 days. That's all it took. When the dust settled, the map of the Middle East looked completely different. Israel had captured the Sinai Peninsula, Gaza Strip, West Bank, East Jerusalem, Golan Heights. Its territory had nearly tripled in size. But victory came with consequences. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians became displaced. Arab nations felt humiliated. The tension didn't disappear. It intensified. This war directly led to the 1973 Yom Kippur War, ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict, Decades of political instability. Even today, the borders drawn in those 6 days remain at the center of global debate. The Six-Day War proved something terrifying. Modern wars don't always last years. Sometimes they last less than a week, but their consequences can last generations. 6 days, thousands of lives changed, and a region forever transformed. History doesn't need time to be powerful. Sometimes it only needs a week.